Making money in no-limit Texas Hold'em starts with the hands you choose to play and how you play them. Even top 10 starting hands can be the wrong hand to play depending on the situation. Pocket aces. Pocket aces show up once every 221 hands, so make them count. While position can make a difference and trapping can work, focus on getting money into the pot early to maximize value. Aces are the very best starting hand, but if the board doesn't improve your hand, you still only have one pair. Keep that in mind to avoid stacking off to random 2 pairs and sets. Pocket kings. Pocket kings are almost identical to aces pre-flop. Some players will fold kings, but it's rarely correct. The odds are 22 to 1 against someone having a better starting hand at a 9-handed table, so try to get as much money into the pot early as you can. An ace on the flop isn't always a death sentence, but if you're facing an overcard or a particularly connected board, focus on pot control. If you have an overpair on an unconnected board, you probably have the best hand, so focus on getting value from lower overpairs and top pair hands. Pocket queens and jacks. Unlike ace-ace and king-king, pocket queens and jacks are foldable pre-flop in certain situations. If you're at a tight table and people are only raising with legit hands, getting involved after a raise and a re-raise can be a mistake. With pocket queens at a 9-handed table, odds are 10.5 to 1 against someone having a better starting hand than you. With pocket jacks, the odds go down to 7 to 1. There's a 51% chance you'll miss your set and see an overcard on the board when you have pocket jacks, and a 38% chance with pocket queens, so playing these hands after the flop can get tricky. If there's really heavy action pre-flop, there's a good chance you're up against a bigger pocket pair, or, at best, ace-king. Only continue if the board improves your hand or your opponent shows signs of weakness. Pocket pairs below jacks. All of these hands are playable for set value if it's folded to you or if you're facing one raise before the flop. You can raise with them in late position, but mostly you're set mining, especially with lower pocket pairs. The chance you'll miss your set and face at least one overcard on the board is 62% for pocket 10s, all the way up to 88% with pocket deuces. If you don't hit your set, don't bet. If you hit it, try to get as much value as possible. The lower your set, the better chance you'll find yourself in a set under set situation, but unless you're a mind reader, you're probably going to go broke. Top pair hands. Ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack, and even king-queen can all be profitable. All these hands are good enough to raise with when you have position, but be careful calling raises with hands like king-queen and ace-jack because there's a good chance you'll be dominated by a better kicker. Odds are you have the best starting hand at a 9-handed table. Most of the value with these hands comes from trapping a looser opponent who flops the same top pair as you, except with a lower kicker. But remember, if you only have top pair and someone's willing to play a huge pot, chances are you're beat. Suited connectors. Suited connectors are great because they can make true big pot hands like straights and flushes. You can raise these hands when it's folded to you in position, but generally speaking, you want to get in cheap and try to flop a big hand or a big draw. Suited connectors are all about draws, so if you completely miss the flop, don't be afraid to throw in the towel. If you do hit a draw, consider semi-bluffing to get more value by forcing your opponent to fold. If he calls, you still have the chance to hit your draw, or you can try bluffing again on a later street. Suited aces. Suited aces are played to hit big and hopefully cooler someone else for a big pot. They're good enough to raise if it folds to you in late position or call one raise, but if there's any kind of action before the flop, you're guaranteed to be behind. To play a big pot with an ace and a weak kicker, you need more than just a pair of aces. You're looking to flop 2 pair or a draw and get paid by someone who raised with a big starting hand. If you do flop just a pair of aces, try to get to showdown cheap and win pots against lower pocket pairs who shut down with an overcard on the flop. Everything else. As a beginner, hands like 10-jack and queen-10 look playable, but the truth is, they're going to cost you money over the long term. The weaker your starting hands, the trickier things are going to get after the flop, so wait until you have more experience before mixing it up with hands like these. If you're out of position, didn't hit big on the flop, and have no idea where you are, get out ASAP. The best way to limit mistakes in poker is to reduce the number of difficult decisions you have to make. PokerListings.com, the all-in poker guide.